Welcome! I'm Ben from thedawstudio.com, and in this video we will be recording electric guitar with a DI and an amp. Now there are many benefits to doing this. Most of all, recording the DI gives you the option to reamp it in the future. We will also use a DI between the amp and the speaker, which will give us the sound of the amp without the need for microphones. Let's first talk about what a DI is. A DI technically stands for direct inject, but is also commonly referred to as a direct input. A DI's job is to change the level and impedance of a high impedance or high Z signal like a guitar, bass, keyboard, or line out, and convert it to a low impedance mic level signal so that it can be sent to a mixing console or mic preamp. This is vital in live sound to get all sorts of signal to the console, but is also very useful in the studio, as you'll see today. First, we're going to use a DI to split and record the output of our guitar before it goes to the amp. This is a passive DI from BAE that we are using here. Notice that it has a high Z input and a low Z or mic level output. It also has a through, which is very important for what we're doing. The through lets us send the signal to the amp while still sending the low Z signal to the mic preamp. So if we follow the signal, we can see that the output of the guitar goes into the DI. The low Z out of the DI goes into one of our preamps to be recorded. The through of the DI goes to the guitar amp. Now in our setup, it goes through the Radial studio guitar interface system, which lets us connect to a guitar amp in the other room with minimal noise. We have a video linked in the description below about the Radial SGI system. Then in the other room, our signal goes to the input of the amp. We then put some mics in front of the amp, and we're going to put two mics on it, a ribbon and a dynamic, which is a really cool technique that we share in another video that's also linked in the description below. Finally, some DI boxes have the ability to not only accept a high Z signal from a guitar, but to also take an amplified signal like the signal going between the amp and the speaker driver. Today we're using a Rupert Neve Design's RNDI, which has a switch that changes between receiving an instrument signal and a speaker signal. We're going to switch that to the speaker and plug the speaker out of the amp into the in, and then the through will connect to the speaker driver. This allows you to capture the sound of the amp without needing to use microphones, which could be great in a small apartment where noise is an issue. Now that we're set up, let's take a look at what we're recording into our DAW. We're using Pro Tools today, and you can see that we have 4 inputs that we are ready to record. 1 instrument DI, 2 mics on the amp, a ribbon and a dynamic, and 1 speaker DI. Let's go through and solo these different tracks. Notice how different each of these sounds from the others. The instrument DI has a muted, bubbly kind of sound. The ribbon and dynamic mic together have the full sound of the amp. And the speaker DI has a completely different sound entirely. It's kind of like the amp, minus some of the moving air sound of the mics in front of the speaker, but kind of different too. Now let's take a look at some of the benefits of the instrument DI. First, it's a great safety net in case the amp settings don't end up working with the mix, and you wish you'd recorded with different settings or a different amp, or maybe with just less reverb. So let's solo the instrument DI and place an amp simulator plugin on it. We'll use GTR by Waves. Look how we can easily go through different amps and settings and have a world of possible sounds. This technique can also give the sound of running through two amps in parallel. One is the amp you recorded with mics, and the other the DI through the amp simulator. Make sure to use a different type of amp and settings to fatten up your sound and add some nice character. These two signals can be panned to the same spot or far left and right. Just make sure to check and match the phase between the two so that you don't get any warbliness or comb filtering. We have a video about adjusting phase shift that will be linked in the description below. One of the big mistakes that people make when doing this is that they record the DI too hot or too loud. The amp simulator plugin is expecting a pretty quiet signal just like a real amp. If the DI is too loud, then it will distort the input of the virtual amp. This could be cool, like driving the input of a real amp hard, but might not be great if you're looking for a nice clean tone. The solution is to either record the DI pretty low, or if it's already recorded very hot, use clip gain or even a gain plugin to decrease the amplitude before it reaches the amp simulator plugin. So let's wrap up. We've discussed how simple and beneficial it can be to record a DI of an electric guitar while you're recording through an amp with mics. It gives you the option to reamp if needed, being a nice safety net or even a creative tool. We also looked at using a DI between the amp and the speaker, which has its benefits and disadvantages as well. Now, this technique can also be used when recording bass guitar in exactly the same way. If you like this video or learned something from it, make sure to like and subscribe. And for more information on recording electric guitar, check out some of our other videos. We'll see you next time.